Hello, my friends. I just wanted to get on here for a few minutes, and I know I showed you the other day how I like to use the chalk transfer paper to transfer an image, or not a whole image, but an outline or tracer to canvas. But I just wanted to show you another way that I like to do it. This one, you wouldn't have to really have any special equipment, so that's kind of nice. Like, I feel like the wax, or not wax, sorry, it's labeled as wax-free transfer paper, so I always want to, that's where wax was coming from, and that the chalk transfer paper is not something that I have found to be like really readily available. So it's not that it's a special supply or anything, but I don't know. I feel like if I have to order something, then that involves thinking ahead, and in my brain that kind of becomes a special supply. It's not something that I will always have on hand. This, though, is a little bit different. Hello, you see I have somebody on here. How are you doing? One sort of special piece of equipment here, but still is pretty affordable, and you actually don't even need it. You could do this, sorry. You could do this with putting this up against a window too, if you're doing this in the daylight, which I'm not. So first I'm going to show you really quick how I like to do the underpaintings on a canvas. Now you guys may not be prepping for paint parties, which that's fine. Hopefully my microphone is working. It should be. But this applies to any work that you might be doing. It's not just, paint party specific. So the way I like to do this, let me change my cameras real quick. See if that'll work. Yes, I'm getting it down. Well, it looks kind of gross. So rather than using a paintbrush, I have one of these foam brushes. And because I'm usually prepping a somewhat large amount tonight, I'm only doing, I have 6 people tomorrow. So that's not a ton, but still I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time, prepping the canvases. And I just like this foam brush because I can get it done fairly quick. Usually I put too much paint. That was not quite enough. And it doesn't take a whole lot, really. You can even water it down a bit. Not too much, though, because then you lose that, the way that acrylic paint works. I'm not totally sure how it works. From my understanding, it's got kind of, let's see, plastic-like components. What are you doing? And if you water it down too much, then it loses that, and the bond isn't as strong. Hi. Right now? Okay, fine. Well, now I'm messed up. If I can fix that. Pardon the interruption. I always like to get the sides too. And I usually encourage my painters at paint parties too. You can either paint the sides of the canvas solid color if you want, Some people like to do black. Or as you're painting your scene, you can kind of bring your painting and wrap it around the edges, which is kind of cool. But if they don't want to do that, that's fine. If they don't want to put a solid color, that's fine. I just feel like even having this brown base coat underpainting just gives it a little more of a complete look than if plain white canvas would. Okay, so that's how I do that. Pretty speedy. I'm not going to wait for it to dry to show you this because I already have a whole bunch that I've prepped sitting back there. So now before you transfer, you will want it to be completely dry, of course. So what I'm going to do, turn my canvas over. I have my tracer here. This is what we're going to be painting tomorrow night. I get to paint this twice this month, which is exciting. That one is my own design, so that makes me happy that I have two different places I get to offer that. So I'm just gonna tuck my tracer in here. Okay, and it's not a perfect solution, but a whole lot of detail along those edges. So I can just kind of fill that in. And just kind of, just a little bit, tuck it under the stretcher bars there, just to keep it from moving around. All right, so I've got that. Now the piece of equipment that I'm using here, that is, I would say, probably not a standard piece of household. I would say most people don't have one of these in their house just randomly. However, we have a 7-year-old who is pretty into drawing, and I borrowed this from him. It was a Christmas gift from Grandma. It is a light board or light pad. I think you can find them listed as light pads. He uses this quite a bit, so I just took a moment and snagged it while he wasn't looking. And it's got different brightness settings. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. It's off. It's got 3 different brightness settings. Feeding the dogs. Just do it. Do it quick. Just be loud. It's okay. Okay. So, assuming that you don't have one of these and you're doing this during the daytime, it's dog food going in the dish. Excuse the noise. So what I would recommend is you just take this with your tracer in the back and hold it up to right in front of the camera. Just hold it up to a sunny window. Just, you know, hold it against that. And it might need to be nice and bright. I actually haven't tried that method, but I'm pretty sure you could achieve the same result. Okay. Now I may need to, hey Connor, want to do me a favor?
Yeah.
Go ahead and flip the light off real quick.
Okay, why?
Because I borrowed your light board and I think my overhead light here is too bright. Okay, cool, thank you. Go ahead and keep it off.
Oh, okay.
I'll come over and turn it back on when I'm done. All right, you guys see that? It shows up pretty nicely. So what I'm going to use is what is going on there? Sorry. I have a pastel chalk pencil. You do not need to have this. You could do this with graphite. I like chalk because it erases really easily. All it takes is just a little bit of water and you're good to go. Once your paint is completely dry, or if you transfer an image and decide that's not actually what you want to paint on that canvas, then just take a wet paper towel and just erase that. Graphite, I find, does not erase quite so easily, but you could totally do this with just a regular pencil. If you have a piece of, you know, just chalkboard chalk, that would work too. I like the pencils because you can get a nice sharpened point on there. Okay, I'm going to try something real quick. Get it, yeah, just a little darker in here. So the only problem is that sometimes it can sag a bit in the center. And right now it's wanting to do that. So sometimes I do have this little piece of plexiglass that I will very carefully tuck underneath the stretcher bars. Much closer to the canvas and easier to see. So I'm going to just go ahead and transfer this. Start wherever you like. And of course it takes a minute to, whoops, to get the tracer situated under each canvas, but when I can use this method, I definitely would choose it over the chalk transfer paper. Just because the chalk transfer paper, a lot of times, like I've said before, if I'm transferring to mini canvases, a lot of times I will have to stop after sometimes like 6 or 7 canvases and make a new tracer, which is pretty quick since I keep my original and then just trace that. But still is just extra time. And of course, I love all the people that I get the pleasure of painting with. However, I don't want to spend, you know, too much time doing prep work at home. So, however I can speed up the process, I prefer to do that. I've got so many little flowery bits here. I'm having a hard time actually being able to make out which is what my lines are doing on my tracer. So those pieces that are coming off of the canvas, you know, I can't see them in my light area where I'm tracing. Usually there's not a whole lot in those really thin areas there. So it's pretty easy to just kind of fill it in. I don't worry too much about not being able to see that through the canvas. I'm such a dork. You know what I could do? I have that plexiglass under there. Just slide it over to that side and it holds my paper closer. So if you're doing this up against a window, depending on how detailed it gets, you might need to take a break give your arm a break. It's not easy to hold your arms up and write or draw like that. I think I got that part. Okay. Now this area down here is just it's going to be just a hint of a branch, and then I've got just some kind of squiggly areas to give the painters the idea of, you know, hey, there's a bunch of cherry blossoms right here. It's not really defined, just kind of squiggles. Oh, my bird details. Okay, little beak. All right, it's looking good. I don't know if you can see that, but I can't see through my canvas here. So I'm just kind of making up where that branch is. So pretty easy to just fill in. And because I'm moving this plexiglass underneath, my tracer does keep slipping, which I would say is a downside of this method, but pretty easy to adjust it back as well. This particular design, I would say, is pretty nice because it is not super detailed. So it's a lot of, I don't want to say impressionist. I'm saying that wrong anyway. It's got a very unfocused aspect to a lot of it. Besides this main branch and the blossoms on it, it's all pretty, just kind of like, I don't know, atmospheric and dreamy in the background. And this one over here is just another suggestion of a branch. Some little squiggles to tell the painters, hey, there's a branch over here. Just fill in some cherry blossom areas. You know, there's some down here also. How are you guys doing tonight? Is that Ellen and Jenny? All right, I think I got it. Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to turn my light on again. Just 1 second. And with the light on, I can kind of see areas that I could darken up just a bit. But I think that turned out pretty good. And now I've only got 5 more to go. Easy peasy. I really do like this chalk pencil. It has been really handy. Not just for this, but I take it. It just goes in my kit now for when I'm going to a paint party. This way, if anybody loses any part of their tracer that's already on there, how are you guys doing tonight? So yeah, it's a really temporary way to add to their paintings if I need to help somebody, you know, sketch out another area. I have this thing about, I don't like to paint on people's paintings. Every now and then I will, especially if I can tell somebody's getting really frustrated, because you don't want that. It's supposed to be fun, right? But sometimes I ask permission, you know, do you mind if I show you on your canvas? And then I will show them the technique that I recommend. But that's a little more permanent than a chalk pencil. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you guys this different way. And like I said, you can hold it up to a window and do it that way. You don't have to have a light board. We just happen to have one. A grandma Christmas gift, which is great because my son loves it and I can borrow it every now and then. And then you can check, like I think I may have missed a couple things. It's just little things. It's little suggestions of tiny branches. So there you have it. Another pretty quick way to transfer an outline. Let's see if I can fix this. Yep. Really no special equipment required. Just a sunny window and a pencil will do it. All right. I'm going to go help with the bedtime routine. It's already 8 o'clock. Is this time change throwing you guys off too? I'm so messed up still. It'd be nice if our state would stop doing it. I think the kids are adjusting a little more quickly than I am, but I'm still, my body is still telling me it's 7 o'clock right now, not 8 o'clock, which is annoying because the alarm clock doesn't care. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys have your evening, and thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And we will see you later. Maybe. I'm still here. Okay, I think I got it. Good night, you guys.